This episode of Off My Shelf contains coarse language and adult conversation. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, my name is Tracy James, and welcome to Off My Shelf, a podcast about movies that are well off my shelf, where we go through my DVDs and talk about the movies in my collection. In this episode, Adam Upper from Beyond the Batcast joins me in talking about two movies that are perfect for goofy goobers, with Spaceballs and the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Welcome!
Yay!
Well, hello again. It's been so long since I've talked to you. Oh my God.
How are you today, Tracy?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. I watched SpongeBob today, put me in a great mood. Watched Spaceballs yesterday, had great dreams when I went to bed. So I'm doing tip top. It's all right. Yeah.
So we both watched these movies the same way, because I watched Spaceballs yesterday and did watch SpongeBob today as well. So.
Yes. Oh my God. I have to tell you, last night though, I had a little bit of a panic attack about it. Because I came home, there was a power outage, and since then my DVD player has not been working, and I'm real mad about it. So I will say I slightly cheated because I watched Spaceballs on Amazon Prime. I know, I did not watch the actual DVD. Horrible. But SpongeBob is on Paramount, which is a service I do not have. But luckily, I still have my old laptop that has a disk drive in it, and it still works apparently because
nice.
I got to watch it.
Nice.
So I half cheated, half got away with it. But of course, I didn't look at any extras or try to do anything special because it may have just blown the computer up and I couldn't handle that. So,
But yes. I think SpongeBob is also on one of those streamings as well, because with every time I'm on here, I have also gotten the discs. But so I did watch them both firstly on the discs, and then went to the streaming the second time around just to try to remember. So as I usually try and watch them on the DVDs as well, and this is probably the only time now is when I use I've actually have a Blu-ray player, and that's probably the only time it gets used now.
Yeah. Well, my biggest worry too when I'm watching it on a streaming site is because people have started noticing that companies are like editing even like old movies to take out things that are questionable, or like they didn't like a certain scene, so they're like fix it, or they'll like update like the effects or something. And I'm like, I really hope there's not, from my recollection, I didn't see this, but there didn't seem to be anything changed in it, which is great.
Yeah, I did.
But I was real worried about that. I was just like, well, what if they cut out this scene or they do something with it? And I'm like, I'm talking nonsense. And you're like, that's not what's in there. And then it'll be like a whole different discussion.
Yeah, because and sometimes I was actually reading something the other night, and there was talk about I think it was the Star Trek 6 movie, where like they seen it where like on the streaming things it's like the director's cut, but they saw like theatrical, and it's like the weird thing. There was a couple of scenes that they were talking about that they were different. They're only in one of them, the other, and they couldn't remember which one of those things. Yeah, so that's same thing. That's usually why I try and get the discs as well, because usually I just go back to where my hometown Peterborough. There's like a used video and like game store there, so I usually go there, and usually is more often than not able to pick them up there.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. I may have to, either start adding to my collection some older stuff, or I don't know, maybe just, die after I watch all of the media. I don't know which one's going to happen.
Yeah, it's something to make us live forever for us, so we can watch all the things.
Exactly.
And then everybody would be like me and have like 4 channels, and you're just like all watching them all at once and just getting bombarded by by TV, and then I sign up to watch even more stuff. So
what is it with that thing in like the 80s when it was like, oh, this is going to be the future, the year 2000, and everybody everywhere just was like, oh, this is how we're going to watch TV in the future, and just have like 35 screens with different things on. And I was just like, well, how are you actually like I know we're kind of doing that because half the time, if I'm watching TV, I've got my phone out at least, and I'm like doing two things, but I'm not watching like 12 things at once, which always just seemed nuts.
Yeah, and I'm not looking at three screens right now.
No. But I think there's a difference between like if you're working, so
Yeah,
you have your notes here and your Zoom here and
yeah,
your whatever else on the other screen. That's fine. You're concentrating and you're working and you're going back and forth. But when things are being thrown at you, I feel
yeah,
like it's like putting on three songs to play at the same time. Like,
yeah.
but you can't hear anything.
Yeah, because
So,
that even just take my job for example is like I've probably said this before. I like okay, I'm working at that master control at one of the media places in Canada. So and I have four channels that I watch, and yeah, we have like two monitoring like audio things, and yeah, we have two up at once, and even then, if I have two different audio sources for the four channels I'm watching, like yeah, I can't even focus on what either of them are saying. I know that they're saying stuff, but
mhm.
beyond is just Garhead at that point is just garble really.
Yeah.
Because like for example, like one two of the channels after that they do the 6 o'clock news at the same time
Mm.
for two different channels and it's two different things. So I kind of have to listen to both of them. But again, as long as I know that it's technically audible audio, I know it's okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if there's anything more than that, somebody also tell me because I'm kind of watching two things at once, so I can't really do on the mind to listen to two different things at once.
Yeah, because
Yes, yes.
you're not
Taking
actually
in.
like taking in the
Oh no,
information, right?
no,
Yeah.
not at all. Yeah, because somebody could ask me what happened in those two broadcasts like right after. I'd be like, I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if I'm watching something and I like look at my phone for 5 seconds and what's on screen completely changes, I have to rewind because I have no idea.
Yeah.
Technically, I know it's on and things are happening, but I have no idea what happened. So if I want to know, gotta rewind. That's how it works. You know.
Or also, for example, I used to do the OHL games for Cogeco back in Peterborough when I used to live there and stuff. And like, yeah, I'd be like sit there with a camera looking at the game for like the 2 hours and something like that. And so after the game, like, who'd they play? Like, I don't know. And
Mhm.
like who won? I'm like, I have no idea.
No idea.
I'm like, I think there are a couple goals in there somewhere, but beyond that, I have no idea. But even though I was literally watching the entire game the entire time, I kind of also have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, you're like, I know it was hockey. That's all
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
getting.
yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah, I'm like,
that's
yeah, I'm fairly certain it's hockey. Yeah, it's either hockey or lacrosse I was watching, and I think it's winter out, so it was probably hockey.
it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I never understood that like trend in movies. That was one of them that I didn't get. Even back then when we didn't know where technology was going, I was just like,
Yeah.
this makes no sense, you know. But like lots of other movies, like now you look back at it and you're just like, oh, that seems crazy now. But back then you're like, yeah, I could see that happening. That could totally happen in the future. And now you're just like, those people were crazy, like crazy, you know. And talking about crazy people of the future or just far, far away, Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Segue. Um, I, despite the fact that I've watched this movie many times, just not recently, you know.
Yeah.
So watching it today was like, I was like, oh yeah, and I remembered all of the beats of the movie, all of the scenes, all the things happening, and I was like, it's like it was like home, and I still laughed at the right parts, and I was still like groaned at the right parts because some of these jokes are. It's like a 95% dad joke movie, which I
Oh
realized. And I was just like, holy shit, these jokes are bad, but you can't help but like laugh or smile at them. Like they're just so dumb. They're so dumb. So I thought that was great. Yeah. So what's your history with the Spaceballs movie?
I remember watching it like when I was a kid, because definitely remember John Candy's barf and Pizza the Hut and stuff, and the ship turning into the maid later on in the movie and stuff. But like I think I probably mentioned on before on an earlier broadcast or recording that like my parents used to want or rent like a shit ton of movies, but they weren't necessarily like sci-fi nerds or anything. It was just movie nerds. So this movie or Star Wars weren't like super huge growing up until when the special editions came out in like early 97, and I talked them into let me give me money to go then, because I at that point I still didn't have a job. So I was able to finally go and see those, and then that kind of sparked me into Star Wars then. So I probably watched this like a few times, just probably just for the comedy aspect, because I probably didn't I probably knew it was like a Star Wars like parody, but probably didn't get like most of the jokes.
Hmm.
Because even like the alien reference later on, I didn't see that until like about 15 years ago. But of course,
Wow.
but of course, you know what the chest burster scene is, because it's being referenced like so many fucking times. And I like used to watch Entertainment Tonight a lot, because back when we were growing up, because I think we're probably roughly the same age. We said
Hmm.
there was no internet when we were kids.
Of course not.
Like,
Yeah. You had to
yeah,
learn
yeah,
things the hard way. Yeah.
yes, we're old people, but yeah, like when we were kids, there wasn't an internet, and it wasn't until later on. So yeah, so I'm probably would have saw this like on Entertainment Tonight, and probably would have said like, yeah, they're like making fun of Star Wars, and like like the chess versus the alien, and it's probably the alien scene has been referenced in like a bunch of other stuff, and being like one of the one of the premier scenes out there, sort of thing. So I probably knew that, but I probably didn't necessarily get the specifics of the jokes until later on, where I probably would have gotten the jokes more. But then watching it like yesterday, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this, yeah, 100% some of these jokes probably went over my like 8, 9 year old head.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely when I was younger, it was more about like that guy fell down. Look, they're going plat. That's crazy. It wasn't like, oh my God, that's an indictment on society. And oh, look, it's Planet of the Apes they're doing over here. Like it that stuff went right over my head when I first saw it,
Oh,
for
you got
sure.
lasered in the balls.
Right. One thing I did realize about this is that most of the time I think I've seen this movie, it's been like on TV but edited.
Oh.
And I didn't realize how much they said like asshole and shit and stuff in it. And I was like, is this allowed? Like I was just like, oh my, like a Southern Belle. I got the vapors for a second.
Especially the scene where they start shooting at the princess as she's like rocketing away, and he's like, "What are you doing, guy?" He turns around, he's cross-eyed. He's like, "What are you, an asshole?" He's like, "Yeah, I am." And like
Yes.
they're like for a good like 2, 3 minutes, like asshole gets said so many times.
So many times. I know. I was like, did they always say it this many times? What is happening? Yeah, no. But like that was the thing that kind of caught me about it, because I was just like, oh, I always watch this on like TV in the middle of the afternoon. This shit's not in there. It's all cut out, or bleeped, or it's been like voiceovers, so they're
Yeah.
not saying asshole, like they're saying something else. And I was just going like, oh my God, this is funnier now. But okay, that's just me. Look, horse language is funny. I can't help it. If it's done right, that is. If it's done right. So I thought that was great. Yeah. So do you so from what you're saying, you think it's held up?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I thought it was funny. Yeah, I definitely laughed at that. It didn't feel like a slog at all going through any of this movie. It wasn't like, oh, can't wait till this is done. I
Mhm.
definitely would suggest watching this movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I did like one thing there were actual jokes in this movie this time watching that I was like, "Oh my God, why have I never realized this before?" And it's not because I originally saw it as a kid. Um I had seen it so many times even as an adult or
Yeah.
whatever. But like there was like even just like the crawl at the beginning of the movie where they're like they start at chapter 11 and then they go about how Spaceballs is a bankrupt society and that's why they want to steal air. And I was just like, oh my God, chapter 11 is going bankrupt.
Oh,
Oh my
oh,
God.
fuck yeah, I didn't even get that. I just got
Right?
that random.
Like it was just like all these stupid, subtle things in there. Even at the end of the movie, when they're about to change, they like transform their ship into the Maid. He's like, oh, where's Kafka? Because he's the one gonna change it. And then when the change is done, they say the metamorphosis is complete. And I was like, what? Why is that guy think? I'm like, oh my God, Kafka wrote Metamorphosis. Oh my
Oh.
God. Like it's like literary references in there. It was just like just these little things that are not like focused on by like media, or you don't see over and over again,
Yeah.
that it was just starting to pick up on. And I was just like, oh, I see what you're doing. I get it. You're being funny. I get it. I thought that was great.
And the only thing with references and stuff, like, do you think the Rogue One like shield was kind of referencing this movie with like the oxygen shield or whatever, the air shield or whatever? Do you think? Because
No,
I
I don't think so, because it has.
or do you think it's just a coincidental like reference as a whole to be like protecting the
Well,
planet or whatever?
in the
Because
original Star Wars, they had mentioned things about like shields and stuff over like planets. Like it's one of the reasons why like on Hoth they had to like send down a ground force to take out the generators so that you can get like a proper bombardment from like space, because
for
there
on
was
Hoth,
a
I
there
just
was
I
an
just
energy shield, in the
Yeah,
area.
yeah, with Hoth, I always thought that Shield was just over kind of their general area instead of like the planet, but I guess that yeah. So okay,
Well,
but
I
yeah, it's just like
mean, to
that
me, it seems like just like that kind of reference,
okay, yeah,
not
but yeah, so
really.
yeah, as soon as every time they put that up, yeah, I definitely had like Rogue One vibes, but I guess that was probably like, the last thing I
Yeah.
saw that referenced it, so that's probably why I thought it was thinking that maybe.
Well, I think visually, though, I think it's the first time they may have shown something like covering the like an actual like visual representation of like something covering the planet.
Yeah,
And I think in the old movies, it was just assumed it
no,
was
just said
there,
yeah,
not like they were like, there's a planetary shield, but it didn't look like anything.
yeah,
But it was, it's like in Star Trek and stuff when they put up the shields of the ship. You
yeah.
don't
You
see
don't
like a
see
thing
it,
around it. You just
yeah,
it's just there, kind of thing. So I think maybe that's what it is.
yeah,
But
maybe.
also maybe in Rogue One they took a visual reference from Spaceballs to put it in that
Oh,
movie. So maybe it's
oh,
the
that's
other way
right.
around.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That was that way around. I said it backwards, but yeah. So that's
Mhm.
but yeah. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think this movie is interesting because you're just like, oh no, this is just making fun of Star Wars. But no, there's like pretty much any movie that or TV show that takes place in space it makes fun of.
yeah,
But then there's like references like Wizard of Oz, Transformers, Fantastic Voyage, Planet of the Apes, Aliens. Like there's so many references in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even near the beginning, like when they say he's when the first character that Mel Brooks was playing, he's like, hey, when he said saying what's going on, that you said going about to marry off the princess or whatever. He's like, oh yeah, will beat me down. He's like, is it safe? Like, yeah, he beat me down twice yesterday.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay, I guess it, yeah, I guess it works. So it works in Star Trek. So he even actually name dropped Star Trek.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I thought that was cool. Yeah.
so yeah, so that is a Star Trek reference, but that was not the Star Trek reference for this movie that I had in my head. So I'll wait till we get to it later on, which I'm
Oh,
sure
as a
which I'm sure we probably both know what, or most people probably know what it is already.
oh, like the people? There's two of them.
Two, oh, two.
Yes, that I get visually.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
because the one is Tim Russ is the one, yeah, obviously with
yeah.
one where they're
We ain't found shit.
yeah,
Yeah, I love
and he's like,
that.
yeah, and two AI because he's Tuvok on a Voyager, and I always forget which Star Trek movie is he in.
Well, no, he was in Next Generation.
Oh yeah,
Um,
but he's also in one of the movies I
oh,
said
tech.
On Sulu's ship. He's like
Yeah,
a
he's on six. He's in six. That's at the
it's a six.
beginning.
Okay, okay.
Because that's when you're on Sulu's ship because
Yeah.
when Praxis explodes, the wave hits Sulu's ship, and
Okay.
you're with Sulu at that point in
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I
But
always forget.
also, they make reference to that whole
Yeah.
thing in Voyager as well later on.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, they kind of retcon that being him. Yeah. So I always forgot which movie it was that he was in,
Yes.
which that
Yeah.
they in turn reference in it because I guess Voyager is one of the shows I actually go back to all the time. It's
Well,
like that.
it's
Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like Voyager got like a bad rap. Like it's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
show.
I definitely dig it. Yeah, so I was definitely I think the first one actually, other than the next gen, then I went through all the way, and then I did say, but the first like two seasons, next gen are fucking kind of really rough. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm always hard pressed to go back to. It's been like a few years since I've gone to it last. So I just go to that. You just go through Voyager, DS9, and then Enterprise
Yeah.
because I don't know why I won't do it at next gen, but I'll fucking go through Enterprise. But I think it's only because it's 4 seasons next to 7, so I can kind of force myself through it.
Yeah, but I mean, if you go to next gen and you start at season three, you're fine. And
Yeah,
then
but
that's
but then
still only four seasons you have,
yeah,
five
true,
seasons you have
yeah,
to watch.
true.
It's fine.
But then you gotta start from the starting, and then it's season three. But yeah, so I should do that. Yeah.
That kind of explains why you didn't get the other person who's in this movie.
All
Her
right.
name is Brenda Strong. And like at the end, there's a plastic surgeon, and there's his nurse, the
Yeah.
sexy nurse.
Yeah.
So she's in an episode in season one of Next Generation.
Ah.
Yeah, she's also in Seinfeld. She's also in Starship Troopers. So she's all over the place.
Who's she in Star Trek Troopers?
She's the ship captain.
Oh,
Um,
the one that I always think it's Katie Mulgrew, then it's not.
no, yeah, it's no, it's not.
Okay.
It is not her. No.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, Starship Troopers. She's the ship captain that
yeah, that
Denise Richards is on.
yeah,
Yeah.
report.
Yeah. And she
Yeah,
gets like cut in half by the door,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
some magically she shows up. She shows up as a different character in Starship Troopers 2, but it's clearly the same character, but you're just like, I thought she was dead. She got cut in half and then her ship blew up. So I think, she
Well,
should be
Darth Maul
alive.
came back from getting cut in half, so why can't she?
Yeah, but that universe has magic.
Yeah, but they also have like robotic limbs in Starship Troopers, so it could theoretically work and just do like
Yeah,
a little.
but okay. It's not just see, Darth Maul got cut in half and then fell down a tunnel. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That I get. In that in Starship Troopers, she got cut in half, everybody abandoned ship, and the ship blew up.
Okay, yeah.
And
Okay,
it
I
was in
guess
space.
okay, I guess you got me there.
See, this is why it's because yeah, I agree with you. I'm like, when Darth Maul came back, I was like, that's crazy. But they didn't. Oh, he just fell down a tube and nobody kept got his body. I was like, I guess it makes sense. But this one I was just like,
Yeah,
nah, that shit
she
blew
got
up.
blown
That's
the fuck
wrong.
up.
Yes. Oh my God. But yeah, no, those are the only ones I got like visually. Just like looking at it, I was like, oh no, these two. There might be more in there. I have no idea.
Yeah, like
Technically.
there is, yeah, but those are yeah, but obviously, yeah, Tim Russ is like they made one. I like the video he did within the last like 10 years or so. He has a go up. He's like, yeah, listen off. He's like, I've done this many roles, this and that and stuff, and all I got remembered is from that one line from the movie. I ain't found
Because
shit.
it's classic. What else does he want? That is just like nerd nirvana,
Yeah.
like in there. It's great. It's great.
Yeah,
I really like it.
but I know him more as Tuvok than I do from that one line though, because I've gone back to Voyager more than I've gone back to this. So
Well, yeah, no, he only became Tim Russ after I saw Voyager, and then I watched this movie again, and I was like, oh my God, it's
yeah,
him. Like that's what.
because I don't think he's like anywhere else in the movie. I don't think, right? Or if I or
No.
like yeah, because I was like going into the up to that point, I was like either that I thought it was earlier in the movie, or was like he's gonna be around, and then he does that. So I'm like, where the fuck is he? And then it was fucking like halfway through the movie or longer into the movie.
Yeah, and it's just a 2 minutes, not 2 minutes, 2 seconds
Yeah,
on screen, and you're just like, this is epic, and then he's gone for the rest of the movie.
yeah,
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just shocking how well something can stick in people's brains,
yeah.
and it just be so tiny and so small. That's when something's done well. I can't complain.
Yeah, because
Um,
and plus I just assumed it would be not part of like the bigger role, but yeah, that was bored.
yeah. One thing that really grossed me out in this movie, besides the chest bursting alien, is the visualization of Pizza the Hut, because
Yeah,
that
yeah, that
thing, it was so much like I remember it being gooey, but it was drippy, and
yeah,
I
oh
was just
yeah,
like, that's
yeah,
ugh.
that was a lot grosser than I like thought it was going to be. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he came on screen, and then the android was trying to eat him, and I was just like, why are you doing that? That is a lot. Like it is a lot. Well, you know. Um,
We mean the gangster like Max Headroom looking robot?
looking robot, exactly. Yes.
Like was it like were they just making him like gangster robot or was he like an actual like Star Wars reference? I don't remember.
I don't think he's a specific Star Wars
Oh, or
reference. No,
so he's just like robot gangster.
like general robotness. I
Yeah,
don't
I guess
know.
yeah,
Like,
like old like 50 style like gangster,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that kind of thing.
So I was like I wasn't sure if that was like something I like was missing or I just or if it's just its own thing, yeah.
No, I
Like
think in
one,
the robots, it's only Dot makes reference to C3PO, and that's
yeah,
it. I think
yeah,
specifically.
yeah. I definitely don't think there was a R2D2 reference. I don't think even.
No, I don't think so. Unless they had garbage cans somewhere that kind of looked like it that I didn't pick up on.
Yeah, not that I noticed, yeah, at
I
least.
didn't
So
notice that either. No, no. Um, I don't know. Like, I feel really bad because I've been saying this a lot lately on my episodes, and I'm like trying to come up with things to say, and I'm just like, I don't know. But I'm like, especially the last group of movies I've watched have just been like entertaining. And so it's like at the beginning, I'm just like notes, 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 and then about 20 minutes in, nothing, and then the movie
yeah,
finishes because I'm just
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm watching this.
I think my last note is like where you like find where he's like where Dark Helmet's in his room. He's like he's like playing with the dolls, and I'm like, who do you think made those dolls from? Is my last note.
Well, I mean, they did have a merchandising
Oh, that's right. That's
area,
right. That's right. So
so maybe they were just already made
yeah, so
there. They were,
he's like, give me these. I'm Dark Helmet.
yeah. The thing I did find very funny is that the dark helmet figure was the same height as the other figures, where technically should have been much shorter, and I thought that was very funny. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they mentioned yeah, it was pretty funny, and I did notice it was funny that like for like all the helmets that he's wearing, it's like his head's like at the top of it, so it doesn't make him taller. The helmets don't make him taller at all. They
Yeah.
just like go down to onto his like his shoulders and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're like anybody else would have made it taller, than it like his like like the energy face helmet would have like exposed like the whole like top hat like emptiness at the top or whatever. But
Hmm. I did like what one thing I do like about this movie though is that they definitely put Mel Brooks is not a lazy farce director, right?
yeah,
They put money and effort into all of their costumes and all of their designs, and I loved it. Because I find sometimes when you have a spoof movie, they're just like, "Oh, we're making fun of it, therefore everything should look cheap." And you're like, "No, no, 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 no. Make it look like good." And
yeah.
this movie makes everything look good, which I thought was great.
Yeah, even yeah, I said even Pizza Hut, even though as gross as it looked that his whole like thing looked pretty good though, as far as gross as it was.
Well, I think that's why it comes
Yeah,
across as so gross because it was done well, and you're just like,
yeah,
"Ew, don't get that on me.
yeah,
That's disgusting."
because if it was worse, it'd just be like, oh, that just looks bad, and I just feel bad for the person inside of it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Um, but I think that guy, I did look it up who was in him before. Was it just like the person who did his voice? I don't know. There's a lot of things where it's just like this person was this thing. Like Dot Matrix was played by somebody but voiced by somebody else. Like
Yeah,
it's just a lot of like
yeah,
that going on in the
yeah.
movie.
No, that was funny. With like that, that's the one thing I like with Amazon Prime. And if you like when you move the mouse, it'll actually like or pause it, it'll show you like who's on screen. So like when
Mhm.
there was so yeah, so when Dot, it was just Dot and the princess. It'd always be like three people, and it took me like a second to realize like, oh yeah, that's
What it
right.
was.
I was like, wait, like there's only oh yeah, that's right, the voice. Like
Exactly.
that made me sad. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Joan Rivers isn't inside that robot.
Yeah. Which was it's probably kind of good at the time as well,
Yeah,
because she's
yeah,
probably
true,
too famous to be like covered in gold all day. She's like, I'm not doing that.
that's what would have made it even more funny.
Yeah. Well, I
At
think
least,
that's why Mel Brooks as Schwartz, for example, was really funny because like he is the big guy. He's the
yeah,
director. He's a big star at the time and everything.
yeah,
And here he is walking around covered in gold that will probably, destroy his system or something. But it's for comedy. It's for comedy.
yeah, yeah. His face looks so bad
Yeah.
as yogurt.
One thing I did find, I was when we were talking about like movie references, And I had to look up a couple of them because I was like, did this movie come out after another movie? Because like, so the whole storyline about when they're with yogurt
Yeah.
and and like Princess Vespa is sleeping, and then you like hear her father outside, and then she goes outside and it looks like her dad, but it's actually, Dark Helmet.
Yeah.
And I was just like, did they get that from Masters of the Universe? Because there's like a whole story thing in there where, like Courtney Cox's character, hears a voice outside. She thinks it's her mother, but it's actually Evelyn, and it turns
Oh
to
yeah,
Evelyn
that's
after.
great. I
Yeah.
kind of yeah, I haven't watched that movie in so long because
Uh,
it's so bad.
no, it's bad in all of the best ways. Okay, it is just so entertaining to watch that it's just like, and I will sit there and bitch the whole time, like, what is that? Why is this happening? Why are you here? Like, what's going on? But at the same time, just like, yes, they're winning. It's a real issue.
Yeah, because I want to say like that was 89, I want to say, or is it no, Punisher was 89, so I think that Masters of the Universe being earlier.
Yeah, no, it's the same year as this, 87.
Oh really?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
So it's just like, because and then I was thinking to myself, I'm like, then how did they both? Because that's not a Star Trek or Star Wars reference, right?
I
Because
don't think so.
that,
Yeah.
as far as I remember, like that scenario doesn't actually happen in
And it,
Star Wars.
yeah.
So to me, it's confusing because I'm like, why did both of them have the exact same idea in the same time
Oh,
period? Because they
oh
wouldn't
yeah.
be making the movies at the same
Yeah,
time,
maybe
right?
that. Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, it's like definitely a Swamp Thing and Man Thing situation. Yeah, where they, yeah, the directors are roommates or the writers are roommates or something.
Something exactly. Like they were just like
Something.
he was like passing off ideas as well. She's like, I gotta get this chick out of this room. What do I do? Like,
Well, that's what I'm
hmm.
doing. We're like, I'm
It,
gonna do that too.
that sounds like a good idea. And there was another one that I looked up, and it was Princess, I think it was a Princess Bride reference. Oh yeah, the wedding at the beginning with like the
Oh
the the
definitely.
grumpy.
Yeah, like the priest. I definitely thought it was gonna be another
Yeah,
marriage, yeah,
yeah,
sort of thing. Because the way he was like smiling when he first came in, I thought that was I thought it was like, yeah, we're gonna do that again. But
exactly.
but
Yeah.
I guess I couldn't make that joke twice. I guess.
Yeah. No, but it came out the same year,
Yeah,
like
yeah. So yeah, yeah.
it's
So
so weird. Yeah. So those two,
oh,
like I was looking up, I'm like, no. These two must have come out in 86 and this came out in 87 or something. They're making references. Nope. All the same year. And I was just like, what? Why is everything so the same? Like this is crazy. Not in like a bad way or anything, but I was just like, it just comes across so heavily as like a reference to something that's been like in pop culture for so long that you're like, it has to be a reference to this thing. And then you're just like, nope.
no, it's just referencing that thing I saw as a kid. You think it's
Well,
and you
exactly.
and you know the thing they're referencing and has seen all the things that are referencing it. Yeah, so it all
Yeah.
gets mixed ahead.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I did see that thing initially.
hmm Well, even like I realized too at the end when they stop at the truck stop, right?
Yeah,
Because I was watching Futurama the other day and they had the episode where he gets worms.
yeah.
And the
Oh, that's one of my
scene,
favorite episodes.
it's such a good episode, but the scene where they land at the like they go into this truck stop and they land at the truck stop is almost an exact replica and layout of the scene that's in Spaceballs when they first show like the diner that they're waiting at.
Oh,
And I was like, what? I had never put those two things together
yeah,
before, but I just seen them
and
so close together, couldn't it coalesced.
and in that scene, it probably has one of my favorite like visual jokes too, because like when they go to like the three gas things, it's like light matter, dark matter, was it matter?
Yes.
And then Bender goes to like that
Alcohol.
yeah, the alcohol, and it's alcohol, and it's like alcohol and tonic, and he just switches to that and puts it in his mouth and like puts a cigar, and
Yeah.
he's like, his head goes by, he's like, coming through.
Yeah, it's great. It's yeah, it's so because like sometimes it's like unless you watch the two things together, you don't get the references
Yeah,
because they're
but
so
Susie,
subtle and they're so specific.
yeah, Susie said it like I saw it because yeah, I think it's been a little bit since I've watched that episode. Yeah, but
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the same thing with like The Simpsons and stuff. They make references to so many movies without them being direct visual references to the movies. But then,
Yeah.
of course, if you put the two scenes together, you're like, oh my God, it's the exact same scene.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I love it. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like every couple of years, I do this thing where like I happen to see these two things at the same time and then I get it. I'm just like, I'm learning something new over like a 30-year-old show. Like, what is like, just let me be. This is why I have to rewatch everything all the time. I
Yeah,
say it
just
like it's a bad thing, but it's not.
yeah,
It's
just say
just
it's just making me think of the episode where Bart breaks his leg and he's like looking out the back window and it's like and it's like the Alfred Hitchcock movie.
it's Rear Window. Yeah, the
Yeah,
whole
Ruined.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I love it. I absolutely love it. But like
yeah,
I find Rear Window is one of those, it's like because it's like a bottle episode essentially, right?
yeah,
And so many programs have done it. Like they've done it with that. They've done it I don't know, I was watching like Castle the other day. They had that on it. They've done it with like with even like I'm pretty sure there's a Seinfeld episode that's sort of like that where one of them gets hurt and can't go outside or something. I'm
yeah. I
pretty
think
sure there
so.
is. But like yeah, they've done it like many times in stuff. And I think that's interesting. But I don't know. I guess the thing is because it's such a small set, it's sort of easy to build that story of like I'm trapped at home, cabin fever, paranoia, whether the person
Cabin
across the street
fever.
actually kills somebody or not. Like, I think it's funny.
Or it's just Flanders screaming like a girl.
Yes. uh yeah. Yeah, I love The Simpsons. Well, no. The other day I was thinking about The Simpsons and I'm like, am I actually still a fan anymore? Since I probably haven't continuously watched a season since like season 15, which is like 20 something years ago.
Yeah.
So
Like where I work, for a while up until recently, when one of the channels was airing like seasons like from like 6 to 10, just like on repeat. It would just go through there. So like
yeah.
I don't know how many times I watched like the Max Scorpio episode at work.
Oh, love that episode. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember like the first time it like aired, I started airing on the one channel. Like and I got there for 3, I did my initial work, realized that The Simpsons was on, and just kind of sat there for like an hour and a half watching Simpsons. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm at work. I almost missed doing something that was supposed to because I was just sitting there watching Simpsons.
Yeah. Well, those are like the key seasons. Like most people say the best season of The Simpsons,
Yeah, it's like,
where like the animation is good and the story is good, is like season 3 to season 10,
yeah,
right? And then for me, I push it to 15. I'm like, you get like most of the seasons are still good. Like
yeah.
the episodes are still good, like to
I
15.
always had like 12 or 13 by
Yeah.
myself, or past 10 at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, past that, I'm just like, you got me. I have no idea. There's like,
Yeah,
oh,
I'd bob in and watch the odd stuff or whatever, and then like, they like the 500 episode is the one where they get run out of town, or is that the movie?
no, where they get, no, no.
Or so
The
or
movie
is
is when there's a dome
yeah.
over
Yeah,
Springfield.
and then like the 500, I think it's the 500 where that they get where they get sent up to Alaska or something, I think.
Okay. I don't
But
there
yeah, but
clearly I
I
may
think
not have watched
but yeah,
that
that's
episode.
probably later on. I want to say that's probably later on in the series. So,
I know their 100th episode was the one with Troy McClure, right? Where it was like a
well,
variety show and they talked about like
that's
and they
a
just showed
hundred.
clips.
That's a 137th episode, I think, or
Is
whatever. So
it?
it's some yeah, there's some like I think the joke was it was some like weird episode, I think.
Weird episode number.
Yeah.
Oh, The Simpsons. I love it. But anyways, I mean, I'm pretty sure Mel Brooks did a voice or two on The Simpsons.
Oh,
So
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he's probably done himself his own voice a few times. I had probably other voices as well. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, probably. Yeah. I don't think no, I don't think Rick Moranis did or John Candy. Joan Rivers did, I think.
Yeah. Because I think it was Rick Moranis who like retired for a while because his like wife like got sick or died or something like that, right? I think
Yeah,
was that
his
it? Was
wife
that
got cancer and died, and so he stopped acting to take care of his kids
yeah
and put them through school and all that kind of
yeah
stuff.
did
Yeah.
the yeah so
He's a
that's
good
the
guy.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
So yeah,
He
so
did.
yeah, so I momentarily forgot that he was in this. Yeah, so as soon as like they said Dark Helmet, I'm like, oh yeah, Rick Moranis.
Mhm.
That made me think of like Honey, which movies I haven't saw in a long time is the Honey I Shrunk the Kids movies.
Oh my God. I used to watch that first movie
Yeah,
all the time
yeah, because
because it's just,
that's
it's
one with
great.
the ants, right? The ants,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. The second one is Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, and they're in Vegas. It's not as good, but
yeah,
it'll do. It'll
yeah,
do.
but yeah,
Yeah,
definitely the
no,
first one.
seeing him and how funny it is and how good he's with timing and all this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, we missed out on so much, but you did the right thing, but we
Oh, I
missed out
definitely
on
100%.
so much, right?
Yeah, like at that reading where they going through and like going like, oh yeah, we need to marry the princess so we can steal the planet Druidia's air supply for 10,000 years, which is not, I don't think that's how air works. They just have like a,
No.
and he just turns, he's like, you got that, or you follow that, turns to the camera for a second, then like turns back.
Yeah. I do love the part where they're just like, oh, where do we look? And they're like, oh, get Spaceballs to movie. And they're like, what are you talking about? And they start going through the movie, and they get to the part they're like, it's now, and they're like turning back and forth to like the screen and to us. And I was just like, I love this. This is so good.
But it's now but it was then. But like what now? Like it just happened. Like, oh, I just missed it.
And he's just like in the background going like, what, when, who, and then the thing shuts and you're just like, what is going on here?
uh, the coffee's hot.
Exactly.
I can't breathe in that thing.
It's so good. Yeah, no, like there's just so many like little scenes in the movie that you're just like, this is hilarious. Like, why is this is just funny, you know? Even the part where like they find out like this where the self-destruct thing is, and like he like attacks a guy, and the guy's like, what are you doing? He's like, the Vulcan nerve pinch. He's like, oh, you're
No,
doing it completely wrong.
oh, you got me
Go
moved out a little
here.
more. He's like,
Yeah.
oh.
Or even like just before that when they're like where they're breaking the princess out of jail, like there's this whole sequence and like they're jumping through the doors are closing, the guy walks in, he's like, you think you can get away from us and blah blah blah, they turn around and it's like they're stunt doubles and he's like, you fools. Oh, I just think it's
and
awesome.
the princess is singing in her cell. Like, which one is it? And he's like,
Yeah,
nobody knows. And he's like doing like the little voice. And, like you think it's gonna be me in there or something, but it's her.
it's her, exactly. Yeah, it's just like it's just so ridiculous like half the time, like with horror movies, comedies, I sit around half the time going like, how did you come up with this? Like, where was your brain that you came up with this? Like this, it doesn't make like it makes sense on screen after you've told the story, but like putting that together from scratch seems crazy to me. Absolutely crazy.
Because the part where Dark Helmet gets mad at Colonel Sanders, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh no!" And they automatically goes to like that block his neck because obviously you think he's going to do the Force choke because it's Darth
Yes.
Vader, and yeah, he fucking yeah with the from the ring he fucking does it like a laser into his groin, which
Yeah.
I'm not sure like what exactly it's supposed to be doing. Like, is it like make him sterile? Is it just like a Herdy ray?
I don't
Or
know.
like
Maybe it makes it feel like you got kicked in the balls. I
well,
have
so
no
yeah,
idea.
something, yeah. So like, yeah, definitely not. Yeah, the last thing you expect to come out of
Yeah.
the ring because you think it's the ring's gonna be like the sling ring in Doctor Strange, where it just kind of gives them the power or
Yeah.
something. But yeah,
It focuses the power.
or
Yeah.
something, yeah,
Yeah.
sort of thing, yeah. So then it shoots that. Then later on, it's where they also get their version of the lightsaber
Lightsaber.
too.
Yeah. One thing that also reminded me, a visual reference that I don't understand why I've never gotten, even though I've seen Dark Helmet's outfit hundreds and hundreds of times, is that his his tie and stuff is a dick, if you didn't notice.
Oh no,
Because it's two circles at the top and then the tie comes down.
and
It's a
then I guess that makes his helmet like the helmet, I guess.
no. It's the no. His helmet has it's just
Oh, just
around his neck, and there's two circles, and the tie comes down in between. And I
I,
was just like, oh my god, your tie's a dick. That's hilarious. That's I don't know.
I'm surprised I did not pick up on
Trust me,
that.
have a look at it again and you'll just be like, how did I not notice this? This is just crazy. Like it's yeah. And that's what I think is funny. It's after all of these years, I'm still there's probably people who are going to be like, how did you not notice this before? It's right there. And I'll just be like, look, I just thought it was a tie. And then no, completely different. Yeah.
Wow, what
And
else can we?
I also did like that he had his a safari version of his helmet, which I thought was great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's awesome. And they did the exact same effect for their hover car as in Star Wars because like their whole thing in Star Wars was that when you first see Luke's like hover car or whatever and he stops and gets out, it's just a mirror they put across the bottom of it so you couldn't see wheels.
Oh,
And if you
yeah.
watch this movie, it's very clear that it's also just a mirror across the bottom when they show the side of the car. And I was like, "Oh my God, you're actually even taking all of the same like effects to pay homage and everything."
And yeah, and just yeah, I'm just looking at the picture now. Yeah, taking balls. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. See what I mean?
Sorry, yeah, sorry, not to distract you, but I had to put that
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
there.
But I did like all that stuff. But one that also reminded me of like this little story that I heard about Spaceballs because Mel Brooks had to have permission to make it, right?
Yeah,
Because of all of the references to like
or just
to
kind of
Star
pass
Wars
it
and
by,
stuff.
pass it by
Yeah.
George Lucas, be like, hey, this is cool, right?
Yeah. But George Lucas, the reason why you can't really find any Spaceballs merchandise, even though they make a lot of references to it in the movie, and it's for this specific reason, is because George Lucas says you can make it, but you cannot make merchandise because merchandise was Star Wars' big
Yeah,
seller.
yeah,
Like even though the movie was really popular, they made most of their money from like toys and all that kind of stuff, and they still do. They make a shit ton from
yeah,
that.
yeah, because that's kind of how
Um,
he funded like episodes like 5 and 6, right? After doing like A New Hope, it was like because he made the deal with Fox to for the merchandising rights or whatever.
yes,
Um,
yeah. So like, so yeah, like, so that's why you can't really find any official licensed merchandise. I feel like the last like 2 years or something, I did see something where something was finally released, but after a very long time, and it was a very small set. It was like a T-shirt that just said Spaceballs on it, and like a lunchbox, it just said Spaceballs on it, and it was officially licensed. But that's pretty much the official stuff that you can find on it on purpose because George Lucas like you're not cutting into my toy money. Not a thing that's gonna happen.
Stay off the east side. Or sorry, or is it the west side? I always forget.
I don't
Where they
know. You got to stay off a side.
yeah,
That's
yeah, it's like like the episode of The Simpsons where Marge goes into real estate, and then
oh
he's like, stay off the west. No, I think it's the west side. Stay off the west side.
yeah. Great episode.
Yeah, another
Great
Trouble Clear
episode.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. Like, I feel like this movie is popular enough and big enough that most people are just gonna be like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
And I'm not
yeah,
sure what to say about it without just being like, I remember this part, remember this part, remember this part. Like, I don't know. But I did realize that like I don't know why they hate yogurt so much, but I thought that was really funny. But like one of the worst, most clear costumes was like him as yogurt, and you're like, oh no, it's got a cape on it so his legs can stick out, and you could kind of see it while he's moving. I was like, okay,
yeah. I
sure.
say yeah. The note that like yeah, he looked like a cross between like an Oompa Loompa and Hoggle from Labyrinth.
Yes, yeah. But that whole thing was a Wizard of Oz reference. Like even
Yeah, yeah,
the giant version of him
yeah,
puffing out smoke and him
yeah,
being green. It's all Wizard of Oz. That whole thing. And actually some of his what did they call his people? The like the little people that are were references to
The
the
Jawa
Jawas.
guys.
Yeah.
Do I have that written down? No, I
I
don't.
don't think they made an actual like they
I,
called them anything specific.
yeah, I want to say they did, but I forgot the Dink Dinks.
Oh, oh, that because that's what all they said, right?
Yeah, Dink Dink. Yeah.
Well, one of them was recognizable. It was Tony Cox. He was in like Bad Santa and stuff.
I've only seen that the once really, so I think I only recognize that the two leads like Billy Bob and what's her face from the thing.
Yeah, but he was like the other main guy.
Yeah. That's the only two. That's only two people I remember from that movie. Are those two? I know there are other
Uh,
people in it, but those only two that I can like visualize.
okay. Yeah,
So
no, I
yeah,
saw him. I was like, oh my God, he's actually been acting for a really long time. And I didn't realize that is
like
yeah,
yeah, one of those guys once you realize who they are, you watch old stuff. He's like, oh yeah, they've been in like a ton of stuff.
a ton of
Just
stuff. Yeah.
like just recently because I think it was either at Imagine or at Cineplex was showing the original Beverly Hills Cop.
Hmm.
So I went and saw that, and like Mike from Breaking Bad was in that movie. Yeah,
Oh
it's one
no,
of
that
those.
dude's been around
I know, and
forever.
after
Yeah.
after watching, I seen him in Breaking Bad. You're like, this guy's been in fucking so many fucking things.
Yeah.
He's like 17th build in the movie, but he was always like a big part or something like that. But like he's
Well, I mean, we
just is
already talked about Starship Troopers. He was in that.
was he?
Yeah. Yeah. You know the general they take him in after Rico's first lead and like that guy dies and he's like, "Who authorized you to take off a helmet during a live fire exercise?" That guy is Mike from Breaking Bad.
No, that's his
Am I thinking
brother.
of the wrong person?
No, this is his brother-in-law.
Wait, and which one's Mike then?
Mike is like the cop that works with Gus. Yeah, like
What
Gus
was
Fring, like that, like the
Oh God, now I gotta look it up. I'm getting people confused. Oh my God.
but yeah, like that's but yeah, he's also Breaking Bad, but yeah, it's the brother-in-law that you're thinking of, yeah.
All right, so let's
Oh
see.
yeah, and he's also like uh
Oh, I'm thinking of Hank.
yeah,
Okay.
heck yeah, and then he's also like Mr. Hickey in one of the later seasons of Community.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
him. Yes. Okay.
yeah.
Jonathan Banks.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it. Yeah, him.
Mm. Yes.
Because
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, he was in like he's been in like yeah, he's been in tons of stuff. He's
a
like in
bunch
like
of stuff. Yeah.
Gremlins and all that kind of stuff too.
But
Yeah.
so he's like saw Breaking Bad or not Breaking Bad, Beverly Hills Cop because it had been a while since I had seen that
Mm.
because like with my parents like renting the movies and like recording them and stuff, like I had seen Beverly Hills Cops 3 first. Different. Which yes, I know it's the worst one. I knew it was not great then, so I'm like, why does
Yes.
everyone like these movies, man? This one sucks. But being a kid, not realizing more often than not, the third movie always fucking sucks.
Hmm.
With the exception of Evil Dead with Army of Darkness and the Back to the Future 3 wasn't bad. I enjoy that one.
Hmm.
It's the worst one out of the three of them, but it's still I think it's a good movie. I like it, I guess.
I will say I feel like though there are three well, technically now there's four, five, but originally there were three Evil Dead movies, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness.
Yeah,
Evil Dead 2 is literally just Evil Dead 1
yeah,
done again.
yeah.
So I always feel like, no, that's the same movie. And
Just
Army of Darkness is the sequel. That's it. It's not a trilogy. Don't believe it's a trilogy.
and I didn't see Evil Dead 2 until like last year for the first time when
Mm.
it was they were showing that and Army of Darkness the same night. So like and time it so you can see both of that like
That
the
is a
same
good
night. So
time.
so yeah, and I'd seen 1 and 3, and again I saw Army of Darkness first, then went back and watched Evil Dead like a couple of years later. And that was
Yeah.
like, oh, so sweet, $5 for $5 for both movies, like $5 each, and a movie I haven't seen before. Why the hell not? And yeah,
Done and done.
and Evil Dead is it's one of the few ones where they say the sequel is actually the better one because he just redid the first one, but better
Yeah, because they
because
had money the second
yeah,
time.
my
Yeah.
money, and then I already did the first one the first time or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so
because the first one was like a student project, wasn't it? Wasn't it? It's like his like final project of like film school or something. So it was just
something like
like
that.
a $200 budget and like some friends that he went to school with that
Yeah,
was like, we're gonna be actors. And he's like, okay, let's make a movie. And then he actually made movies, made money, and he's like, okay, we're gonna do this better. And then Evil Dead 2. So yeah, that's why I think they're like the same movie. Like the first one is just a proof of concept. The
yeah,
second one's the actual movie.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I know I like those ones. Those are like as you know, I'm not a huge horror fan, but
yeah. Me
those
neither.
ones
Yeah,
I watch,
yeah, I'm down for the. Yeah, I'm in the same. I'm
every
in the
year.
same boat. I am not a huge like horror fan, but I do like, which is weird. I do like Event Horizon, even though it is a bit gory
Mhm.
in spots. And sure, there's always another one I always think of too. I like From Dusk Till Dawn, but I guess it's only like half a horror movie.
Yeah, it's half a horror movie. It's
Yeah,
it's two movies squished
yeah.
together. Yes. Yeah, I can't watch Event Horizon. It's
Oh yeah,
no, it's
I totally get it. Yeah, because this like yeah, it is good, but yeah, it's bad.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. As my friends would say, Tracy, it's not for you. I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine. I
Like
will do
a
not
few
have
years
to do
ago,
that one.
yeah, I was home one time and like the old man was like put on. It was like this, and like my mom was like turning to me, he's like, well, am I going to like this? I'm like, no, you are 100% not going to like this. And she's like, oh, I'm like I'm gonna watch it, but you probably shouldn't.
You're
But she
not
did
going to
anyway.
enjoy this experience.
No,
FYI.
100% she didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I don't know. I just like this movie. It's just
Yeah.
enjoyable. And it's not like, yeah, something could be considered like this is not appropriate for today, but it's not so offensive that you're just
Oh,
like, we can't do this anymore.
no,
It's
yeah,
not at that level.
yeah, I don't, I wouldn't really say anything in this movie is really offensive.
Mhm.
I wouldn't think because
Yeah, like, yeah.
yeah, because he has done a movie that is definitely could be because I actually saw for the first time and like, I think it was in the spring. Imagine was showing Blazing Saddles,
Okay.
and obviously that's very offensive.
Oh, I only saw like half that movie once
Yeah.
when like I was definitely under 20 years old when I
Oh
saw
yeah,
it.
that's yeah,
And so I was like, this
yeah.
is boring. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too, and yeah, especially like the first like 20 minutes of that movie, I was just like, if I wasn't at the movie theater, I probably like would be on my phone and being like, yeah, I'm not finishing this movie because like
Yeah.
they say the movie isn't racist, but the people are, but still, I still didn't want to listen to that, so that
But
wasn't good. So I was
yeah.
like, this movie is rough to hear, especially like be this year being the first time I watched it.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, this is a problem with going back and
yeah,
watching stuff and like even no matter like how acclaimed it was at some
yeah,
point in time or whatever, a lot of it is just like that's
yeah,
fucking offensive.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. What it
oh
was,
my God.
I was like, this is
Yeah.
yeah,
And like you can appreciate why it was acclaimed. Like you're like, for the time, like
yeah,
this acting was interesting, or like the costumes were really good, or like the sets were amazing. And you're just like, oh, I understand at that time why people are like, this is awesome. But now you're just like, I can I put you on mute and just look at the pretty dresses or
yeah,
something, like I can't handle it. And people are treating people horribly and all this kind of stuff, and I'm just like, you're hurting my heart.
yeah.
I'm
Just
trying to appreciate the cinema and you're
yeah.
ruining it.
Yeah, that's why I haven't really seen the last couple like Quentin movies, or if I have, it's just been once because I'm like I can't do it.
Really? Quentin
Yeah,
Tarantino movies?
well, yeah, because yeah, even for him, he likes to use a few words a little too liberally for my liking sometimes,
Oh yeah. Yes,
so
he does. I
so
will say he definitely does. He's got too much he takes a little too much liberty on that. Like
yeah,
even rewatching Reservoir Dogs recently, I was just like, holy shit. Okay.
yeah,
Like, oh. But yeah, no, I get it. I get
yeah.
it.
So, but
But one thing we can say about this movie That's not the problem.
Oh no, 100% no. Yeah, like
Not the problem.
yeah, like I guess yeah. I think the one real problem is how gross that Pizza Hut was. I think
Yeah.
really,
Yeah,
if that's the worst thing in the movie, I think you're doing okay.
exactly. And then and like I don't think Valium's a big drug anymore, so like people aren't gonna understand like why is that print so sleepy? I'm like,
Oh,
you
I
print
did. Oh shit!
Valium.
I didn't even think about that. As soon as Susie said it, I'm like, oh yeah, but like I didn't even put that together then until now
Yeah,
again.
yeah. They're like, why is he so tired? Yeah, all his Valium taking. Yeah, no, it's just stuff. I feel like some of the jokes are out of date that you'd have to like sit people down and be like, it's funny because of this.
Yeah,
Or it's like they're like, oh, what is that they're playing? It's not even like a CD. Like it's what's called a cassette. They don't have these things anymore, like they're not regular. Kids aren't seeing these things. So yeah, no, I feel like there's a lot of explanation involved in some of the jokes being made. Yeah.
I felt I was doing that little much to the one guy I was training at work like last week before. Then I asked him, he's like 21.
Oh my God.
So he is fucking literally half my fucking age. And I was like, oh, like anything I've said the last like hour, you have no idea what the fuck I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so I'm gonna have to like rethink my entire like reference bank just to try and talk to you. And I was like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. They're just like, hey, do you know what? So CC means carbon copy, and we have a machine for. They're like, what's a carbon copy? I'm like, I hate you. Get out. That kind of thing. It's crazy. Yeah, no, I've had to definitely explain like cassettes and stuff to people, and they're just like, what's a cassette? And I'm like, I need you to leave immediately. Okay, because I'm gonna go in a corner and cry as my hair turns gray and my teeth fall out. Like, ugh, horrible. Aging is the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you smarter, but also
Uh,
destroys your soul and
yeah.
body. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
fun part.
Yeah, that's why I haven't to grow my goatee out since I've noticed that it started to come in gray. That's why. Like I don't want to know what it looks like when it's longer. So like maybe that's why I like unintentionally intentionally like fucking it up. So I need to trim it down. So
Yeah, yeah. Keep a youthful appearance. Yeah. Talking about youthful appearance, SpongeBob looks very good for his age. That's all I
because
gotta say.
he lives in a pineapple under the sea, Tracy.
It's a lot of moisturizing, I think. Yes, a lot of moisturizing. Um, I just want to say I love this movie. I try my best to watch it at least every March.
Nice.
Maybe sometimes twice in March if I remember correctly. Also, some channels on TV, including like YTV and Teletoon, remind me because they'll have it on March
Nice.
7th and March 14th, and I'm like, gonna watch it. It's great.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
no, is this like tie like I haven't watched the show. Does it like tie in with the show, or is it just like it's kind of like its own little thing, or is it like
It's its own little story, but it definitely ties into the show
what?
because all the characters are there,
Well,
the
yeah,
scenarios there.
yeah,
Because there's no like there's a setup for the story, but if you've watched the show, you know the world and the
yeah.
characters that you're seeing. Yeah. So you never watched the show? You
Yeah, not the show. I've seen like bits and pieces here and there, but not in any sort of like length. So that's kind of why, other than it being Spaceballs, I was like, okay, this actually get me to sit down and actually watch some SpongeBob. And I figure that is probably my humor, but I just haven't like gone around to watching it. So, and I watch it, and I definitely, I was
sorry.
liking it.
Wait. Does that mean this is the first time you watched this movie?
Yeah,
What? Oh my God. I did not know this was going to be a thing. I need to hear all of your opinions because this is a movie. So I look, I did not grow up on SpongeBob. I was a full-on adult when that show started, and I watched the shit out of it. And this movie came out, and I watched it in the theater when it came on DVD. First day it came on DVD, bought the DVD, I watch it like very regularly, especially if I'm in a bad mood and I want to feel good. Pick up that movie, watch the movie. I
oh yeah,
love it.
yeah. So
Um,
especially like I love like how it starts off with the fucking like the pirates. And they go in the and they go in the movie theater and stuff. And that all that green screen stuff is so fucking good. Like it's
yeah,
like not that I don't want to insult the SpongeBob movie, but it's too good for a SpongeBob movie, I think.
It is not too good for a SpongeBob.
Like
I
you know
will
what I mean?
tell
Like
you.
it's just it was really good and stuff. And then the only thing it was like when they went to the theater, I'm like, why do they have the first two rows? That's like the worst rows in the theater. But of course you need to have them showing them visually, like because
Yeah.
they come up later on and stuff like that.
Well,
For like
yeah.
on the viewing aspect, I get it, but not in the movie theater aspect. Like go in the back. That's the best seats in the house.
Well, clearly all those other seats were already taken because they were late. Clearly late because the lights were already down, everybody was already seated, and then they rushed in. So that's all that was left.
Because it was definitely in like the old theater system, which we're both probably aware of and stuff. Because I remember going to see the original X-Men movie in the
Mhm.
theaters and got there late. And yeah, I know it was in like the front row that has like the three rows there, like
Yeah.
that. I was in one of those off to the right in the back row, and that was fucking the worst. Even though it was X-Men, the first X-Men movie, and it was awesome, like seeing the fucking X-Men finally theaters, yeah, like Wolverine and this stuff. But
Yeah.
it was the fucking literally the worst seat in the house. Like yeah, I had to like move my head for like when stuff was happening. It was
Yeah.
probably like my worst movie theater experience.
Uh, for me, it was actually the first Transformers movie that happened. Um,
And you just saw the
showed up
Transformers
late.
movie.
Yeah, and like I think it was like no, I think I was in the front row. Like not in the middle, but kind of to the side. And because of like because the screen is slightly curved. It's not like
Yeah.
even if it's not IMAX, it's not fully straight, it's slightly curved. Everything got distorted at a certain point, even
Yeah.
if I kept looking back and forth. And I was just like, and already the first Transformers movies, especially like the fight scenes between like the robots
Yeah,
and
there's
like the
just
Transformers,
it's
it
just
just looked like
moving stuff. You can't
yes,
you can't tell you can't discern anything in those
anything about it, right?
yeah,
And I was just sitting there going like, I have no idea what I'm looking at.
yeah.
I don't know what's going on. So that was my worst experience. Yeah.
Like
I
actually
bet.
now that I think about it, I had tied with like when I went to go see the first John Wick movie,
Oh
like
no. Yeah.
the theater just the projector just didn't work.
Oh no.
So,
That's
so
the
we
worst.
so we got our money back and like a free ticket. So like and it was like opening week like the opening Saturday and I went to go like I was working 311 like the next day for like the week. So I went to go the next Saturday and it was already out of the theater.
Yeah. Because nobody
So
knew about it.
yeah, exactly. And then I came out like I think around my birthday, like the video I saw, and I was like, oh my God, I could have fucking seen that. I was in this theater about to see this movie, and then I couldn't see it because the fucking projector
Yeah.
broke, and I could have fucking seen this movie in the theater.
I was
But
so mad about that John Wick movie because I saw it when it came on, I don't know, one of the channels like
yeah,
HBO or
yeah,
Crave or something. And I was like, because I had heard about the movie. I had no idea it came out. I had never actually watched a trailer. I just knew it was like it's like some guy taking revenge and it's Keanu Reeves. I'm like, well, I'm gonna watch that movie.
yeah,
And then I was like, what do you mean it's on TV already? What is happening? And I watched it, I was like, this is one of the best movies I've ever
yeah,
seen. How
yeah.
did I not know about this? Like,
Yeah,
oh, I was so mad.
yeah, and then finally, like I, because like this year is like the 10-year anniversary. Like Cineplex was showing it for a couple days. So I think it was
What?
I
I
think
missed it.
it might still be there like this week. So it might so check this weekend. It might
I
still be
will
there.
check this weekend
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
So I was able to go on Sunday. Like I went on Sunday night for the 7 o'clock show,
Hmm.
and too, and then because obviously this the one scene this would have played in the theater initially is like when what's his face's dad calls John Leguizamo at his shop.
Yeah.
He's like, I heard
You
you
hit my
struck my
son.
I
Yeah.
heard you struck my son. He's like, yeah, well, sir, it's because you stole John Wick's car and killed his dog, and then he just turns around and does one of the best. Oh,
Yeah.
and he's like, I because it just goes to show I know exactly how screwed I am,
Yeah.
kind of. Oh, and yeah, and it got a good chuckle and stuff because obviously in that theater you probably wouldn't have initially wouldn't have gotten that same reaction out of it. So I was like, good. The theater was like almost full. Actually, one of the few times where I was actually glad the theater was full because they usually go on like off times and like off days. So it's usually me and like two other people,
Hmm.
just so I could just not worry about people being assholes with the phone or being loud or talking or whatever. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but with this, yeah, just with some of the scenes, they got the laugh or the holy fuck that just fucking happened
Yeah.
or there's
Yeah.
some of the kills. Oh,
And no,
it was
that's a
yeah.
good crowd
Yeah,
movie. Yeah.
it was, yeah. So I was like, initially, I was almost didn't go, and I was like, no, fucking, I'll get the tickets for like
Hmm.
that almost full theater, yeah.
Yeah, definitely,
But
definitely.
yeah, especially that scene. Yeah, like that. I like that. That he just turns around. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
and hangs
Yeah, and
up. He's
as you
like,
watch the movie, you're like, oh, so he says oh because he's like, yes, my son deserved to get
yeah,
slapped
or he's like, I
because
know.
he has messed up a big thing. Like this is just wrong. Yeah. He knew he was screwed. He knew he
Exactly.
was
Yeah,
screwed.
because like it was like right after that, he's like he talks to his the talks to the vulture
Yeah.
from Brooklyn, which
Yeah.
always every time I see it, I always fucking laugh because
He's a vulture.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's like how he's like I like he's like yeah, just like send a team. He's like how many people? He's like how many do you got?
Yeah. Just send all of them. Just
Yeah.
all of them. Um, so I'm gonna bring it back to SpongeBob because I need to hear your thoughts on this movie. It's very important.
I loved it. Like
And
I just being like dropped into the world and stuff. I was like a very little thing. I know he worked at the Krusty Krab. He made burgers, sort of thing.
mhm.
Lives in a pineapple under the sea, like that. And Patrick is his buddy and whatnot. And so like I knew the basic stuff, but like because I think I made like when I signing up for this episode, it made me think of when I first got the job where I'm working now. I was staying just on Spadina, just north of Bloor. So I went to go to the pizza that was there. That's oddly not there anymore the last time I went
I
up.
know it's
Yeah,
gone. It's
yeah, it sucks.
ridiculous.
Yeah, so they went in there and they had a TV up. So like there's a couple ahead and they had their little kid. So they were watching the TV and it was a SpongeBob episode. And because I was working earlier, it was like 7, 8 o'clock. So I was about to go to bed. So I kind of smoked a joint on the way there. So I was watching and I like had a good chuckle to myself because this is probably the two demographics for this show was like little kids and people under the influence. So I was like laughing at the show and then I had to laugh at that. And I went, got my pizza and left.
Yeah. Oh,
So
definitely. That is
yeah.
definitely their demographic for sure. For sure. So my thing is like it's like I know at the beginning you're probably thinking like the pirates are really random. What is this song that they're singing? And but the thing in the early seasons of the show, the pirates were part of the show. Like there were
Oh really?
interstitials in between SpongeBob stories. So they were part
Oh.
of the show.
So like what they had like Watchmen style in interstitials with the pirates?
No, it was just yeah,
But
no,
like
they were sort of like they were like how do I describe not Watchmen style, but more like like let's see what SpongeBob's doing today. And he had like a talking pirate on his side or whatever. It was just like a random dude in the middle, and he's like, what's up with the Krusty Krab? And then go into the Krusty Krab, and then you get your story and blah blah blah. And of course you did recognize the song they were singing was the actual theme song for
yeah,
SpongeBob SquarePants, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
did get that part. Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Because
Okay,
I feel like people now forget that the pirates were part of the actual
well,
show early, and it's not just like a random thing. Just like we'll just pick some pirates. You're like, no, that was part
no,
of the
like
show. They brought it
well,
in.
they're water related, so I figured like at the very least, if it was just a movie, it still works. So I was like because obviously like I like weird and random things, which I've probably said in watching that. So I wasn't like totally lost. I was just like, sweet, these are pirates, and I'm like, hey, these pirates look really good, right? It being a fucking
Yeah,
it being like a 2D cartoon. So
yeah, yeah,
was more my thinking instead of being like, what the fuck's with these pirates? Because
yeah.
I think I would have been like something was missing from the beginning if the pirates weren't there, if anything, I think.
Yeah, I think just like the introduction, like you needed the introduction somehow to get into the story. And that's how they've always been used on the show. And they're not, I don't think they're ever used anymore. I haven't really watched the show in a long time.
Because
Um,
going back to our talking about with the DVDs, even one of my notes is like I watch it first, and like this one of the disclaimers was mild crude humor, and that I was like I have it in like all caps, mild crude humor. I'm outie.
yes.
So I was like, oh, I'm
All right.
definitely down. Yeah, for I like the fact that that's the only disclaimer for this movie.
Yeah, no, it's just I think the thing about SpongeBob is, as you can see, he's a very positive character and tries his best to be very positive. And he's like telling kids to be like, you know what? As long as doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's being a fry cook or King Neptune or whatever. If you try your best, you can do whatever. And he's just fun. I think he's just fun and silly and colorful and entertaining. It's
Yeah.
weird.
All the things I've done for you, because I usually try. I aim more for positivity stuff than negative stuff, really,
Yeah.
for me. So that's definitely digging it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's never like he's not a character that's like actively mean. Like, yeah, Squidward is more of the pessimist slash pragmatist of the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
And of course he gets like grumpy and whatever, but SpongeBob and Patrick are just like, we're just gonna have a good time. Just make it happen. Just take the best of it and
So,
whatever.
so is it only the Squidward and SpongeBob that work at Krusty Krab, or does Patrick work there too?
Patrick does not work there.
So
Yeah.
and is there other employees as well, or is it just the two of them?
No, it's the two of them, and then of course it's owned by Mr.
Yeah.
Krabs.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, because I was with like the whole like with his the movie starts off after the pirates. He has like the dream where he's like being the manager and stuff. So I was wondering like if it was just the two of them or if there was more people there. So that is which is more funny that it's just the two of them there and he
Well,
didn't get
I'm
it. But
I'm pretty sure they've had episodes where like, somebody showed up and may have like been a server or something. But yeah, no, nobody's like officially another employee
it's
or
just
anything.
mainly the two of them. Yeah. So
Yes, yes. And Mr. Krabs has a daughter who's a whale. And then, then there's Sandy Squirrel, who's his other best friend. Um, who else is on the
and
team?
it's Mr. Krabs that owns the place, right?
Yes, it's
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
Krabs,
yeah,
yes.
and with that, I guess that's our Star Trek reference for this episode is because he is it's Clancy Brown that voices Mr. Krabs, right?
It is,
Yeah,
yes.
and
Hmm.
he is in like a first season episode of Enterprise.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, Tom Kinney has done several voices on Lower Decks.
That's the one I haven't watched. I haven't watched your Lord X yet,
Yeah.
so I didn't get that. So yeah, so yeah, it's like Clancy Brown where he goes and plays space lacrosse with Captain Archer and Trip.
Space lacrosse. It's always
Yeah,
space something or
yeah,
other.
exactly. Yeah, because that's exactly what it is, really.
Yeah. It's like there's space karate,
Yeah,
there's all kinds of stuff. It's
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, no, like a lot of the people who've done voices on SpongeBob, like a few of them have done voices on like Star Trek stuff. But even what's funny about it, actually, I was like looking up some of the voice actors and things, and a few of them have done stuff on Batman, but not Batman the animated series, which is the one that you're like
Yeah.
referring, but like other Batman stuff. Because even oh my god, I've you just said his name and I've already forgotten it.
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown
Yeah,
has done, of course, voices on like other Batman shows, but
yeah.
not the animated series
I
or the
I
90s animated
I
series, I should say.
want to I didn't I want to actually I want to say that he was a voice actually.
Yeah,
I thought I
I
thought
looked it up.
uh,
Yeah. He
oh
was
I
he
say
did voices on The Batman
oh,
and Batman Brave and Bold and a couple of the other cartoons, but it was not Batman the animated series.
weird. But
Hmm.
there but it took me a minute to get your voice. But like but Tom Wilson, who did one of the voices in the SpongeBob movie, was also that did a voice on in the Robin's Reckoning, like the two-parter episode.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, so like which was funny because like in the SpongeBob his voice was modulated a bit and I got it like almost right away. And I'm like, hey, that's I'm fairly certain that's Biff. Then went online and I did it. And it was funny because like it was like yeah the two-parter episode of the Robin's Reckoning and I didn't pick up on it until like the second episode where like
Mhm.
Robin like calls him and he's like has like the tracker in his phone just so he knows where he is sort of thing and he's yelling at the phone and it was then when I picked it up I was like he's talking through the the first episode I usually pick up episodes almost right away.
Yeah, the other person, so there is somebody who did do a voice on Batman the animated series. His name is Rodger Bumpass, and he does the voice of Squidward, if I remember, if my notes are correct. Yes, he does the voice of Squidward. And he was in, of course, I should, put all my notes in a proper order, and then I would be able to just speak straight about this.
Who has time for
I'm like scrolling up and down. But he does a voice in the Paging the Crime Doctor episode. And that's a good episode. I think you've done that one already.
Oh, was that like the Leslie Tompkins, like the first Leslie Tompkins episode?
It's the one where which crime boss is it has a heart
Oh,
attack, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like, and he has a doctor, and then the doctor's like, I can't fix it, and then they kidnap Leslie Thompson to help him.
oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah. Yeah, and Tom Wilson did Zuko in the Batman, which because that was the episode where they finds out that Zuko was the one who killed his parents and stuff or caused the accident to do it. And,
that's a really intense episode.
yeah, especially it's fairly early on in the series too. And then it has like one of the parts in this episode where where they use for the intro later on in series like 2 through 4 where they do like the Kira slide on the motorcycle on the dock.
Yeah. I remember
and
that,
actually so as soon as I saw that I'm like, oh yeah, that's where that was from. Yeah, because I always forgot like what episode that was in.
What is in, yeah. So with SpongeBob, it's kind of like silly, absurdist humor that kind of goes all over the place, and you were good with all of that.
Oh yeah. As I said, like I freaking love this movie. Yeah, I wasn't like grown in any of the humor or anything, and I thought everything was funny, and didn't feel like thrown off by anything. Yeah, so I definitely I kind of wish that I did watch more of the show when it was first aired.
I will say this is one of the movies where like I used to watch SpongeBob the TV show on a very regular basis, and this movie came out, and I don't care who yells at me about this, but it was so good that when I tried to watch the TV show again, I'm like, I couldn't do. I'm like, no, you have elevated yourself to a level, and I can't go backwards. I literally could not watch the TV show anymore because I'm like, no, this is peak. It's over. Can't do it. And I never went back.
Because the kid, first go in '99. Yeah, so I don't think I was at that time. I don't think I was watching much TV at the time. Yeah, so I definitely wouldn't have started watching it then. But yeah,
I can't think of a point in my life where I wasn't watching much TV.
Yeah, so
is that a bad thing? That might be a bad
thing.
I don't know.
It's good for me as long as you watching a lot of watching the channels that I put on, then it's okay.
Oh God, I don't even I watch like all of the channels.
Then it's okay.
Then it's okay. Then it's okay.
Yeah, you're putting money in my pocket, so it's okay. Watch all the TV you want to watch, Tracy.
Thank you. So one of I love the opening sequence. Like not just the pirates, like after the pirates, like his dream sequence, I should say.
Yeah.
It's so cheesy and reminiscent of like a bad procedural / a film noir, and it's so dorky. But then at the end, when he's just like, just say cheese, and he's like putting it up and like 3 cheers for the manager, and it's like the alarm going off. I'm just like, that's me every morning. Oh my God. Something's happening in my dream, and all of a sudden, like this weird music starts to play. I'm like, where is that coming from? What's going on? And it's the alarm. It just breaks in there. I just like that they put normal people things in there, quote unquote. It's fun.
Yeah, that made me think that he was like the manager. And I was like, even though I don't know very much about SpongeBob, I'm fairly certain he's not management material.
No.
from what little I know, especially a guy who wears like cardboard boxes for shorts.
I mean, he is literally a sponge under the sea. So I guess cardboard boxes pants is not the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I guess if his house is pineapple, I guess or pamplemousse as us Canadians would say.
Isn't
that's
pamplemousse grapefruit?
That's French. All right, you're right. I'm bad at French. Never mind.
No, isn't pineapple ananas?
Yeah, you're right. I fucked up the joke.
It's okay.
My bad. You're right.
No, no.
I'm
It
wrong.
took me a second to I was like, no, I think that's
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're
wrong.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
fucked up my own joke.
The one thing this movie did actually like blow my mind because you're like the whole movie they're like, oh, he's a kid, he's a kid, he's a kid, but he's had 374 Employee of the Month awards. Okay, that means he's been Employee of the Month, hopefully every month for 31 years and 2 months.
But I took that as that he gave them to himself though, didn't he? Or was that from Krusty Krab?
No, it's from the Krusty Krab.
Oh,
That's why he's saying it.
I took it as that he gave them to himself instead of there from there. So I guess that
Yeah.
I
No, but
guess
even if he was giving it to himself, that's still 31 years worth of Employee of the Months. Plus, I also have to look up how long it takes for a sea sponge to mature to be like, how old is SpongeBob? Because that doesn't mean he's 31 years old. He'd have to be an adult to get a job first.
yeah.
And
So it's what
apparently, it takes 2 years for a sea sponge to become harvestable, which I assume means an adult, mature enough. So, like, SpongeBob's like 33, 34 years old in this, which I think is
okay.
crazy.
Yeah, he looks pretty good for 33. I wish I looked that good when I was 33.
Right?
Gary probably acted the same, but at least I did. We didn't look the same.
Yes, exactly. I had less gray hairs, but that's about it. That's all that changed. But yeah, no, it's like, oh no, SpongeBob's like an adult who's just childish,
Yeah, yeah,
which is
because
sort of nice, but also what?
yeah, because does he own this pineapple house? Is that his own house?
That is his own house. Yeah,
Oh
he does
fuck!
not live with his parents.
Like
Yeah.
he's doing better than I am. Fuck! I don't have my own house. Fuck.
Look, you could swim out to the Bikini Atoll, sink yourself down, and hang out with Sandy the squirrel, and have your own house down there.
And
I
then
think I'm assuming the real estate is relatively cheap.
well, in the in the Bikini Atoll, I'm sure it's fucking real cheap because of the ambient radiation is probably not super livable there.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. Like there's probably an article about this somewhere, but that's what they say. That's why apparently SpongeBob lives in Bikini Bottom because it's Bikini bottom of the ocean in the
Yeah,
Bikini Atoll.
yeah.
And the reason why they're like alive down there and like can act and stuff is
It's
because
because
of all of the radiation.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
I either I wasn't sure if I cleaned that from somewhere else or if I just kind of did that myself. Yeah, that's why. But I
Yeah.
kind of figured that.
I thought that was when I found that out, I was like, that's amazing. But that's also very scary, but very deep lore
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a kid's show.
yeah,
That's supposed to be
exactly.
ridiculous.
Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, it's something to look back on, and be like, oh yeah, shit, that was darker than it should have been here.
Yeah.
But
I don't
but
think that they bring it up in the show in
oh
any
no,
way,
but
shape, or
yeah,
form, which is great.
it's waiting for you to fucking pick up on it. Yeah.
Oh, God.
But if I was as good a swimmer as a Hafiz in this movie, I'd probably be out there more often.
Hmm.
All right.
It's amazing. Like if you Google it, they have pictures of his like. So the scenes where they animate SpongeBob and Patrick on his back,
Yeah.
they actually made like a body double of him that
Yeah.
stays flat or whatever.
Or more still. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. You should Google what that thing looks like because it is creepy as shit. It is so creepy looking.
Yeah, because
It is like
I'm
nuts.
sure it was probably like a worse version of the Peter Quill body they made for Guardians 3.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Like, but it's even it's
It's probably like
slightly
it's probably like almost a body, probably.
no, it's like a full body the same way. It's like a full long body, like head to toe. And it's just super creepy looking. You're just like, what?
And then on top of that, it's like David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
know
mean, at the time it was
yeah,
great.
yeah. It was funny because one year, like one of the first few years, I was at Comic-Con here in Toronto. Yeah, he was at one of them and walked by me, and yeah, he's like taller than I am, like just barely, but he's taller than I am.
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't think he was that
yeah,
tall.
he's like 6'5".
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I know. Yeah, like I know. I didn't think he was short, but yeah, I didn't think he would be that fucking tall. But like he like walked by, and I was like, holy fuck! It caught me off guard because I'm like I'm just above 6'3", so there's barely people taller than me. So it's kind of noticeable that when you do it, and then especially like I already know who David Hasselhoff is because like I knew the show that he was on that time.
Yeah, they say he's 6'3",
Oh, it's 6'3".
6'3". Yeah.
Oh, I want to say
No,
yeah,
wait,
but
no, sorry. It's 6 feet point three, so a third of a foot is four. So he's 6'4".
yes, but yeah, so he must have had
That's
like
tall, man.
yeah, so yeah, must have lifts on. So he was like yeah, like my height or just like all right or something. Yeah, so it threw me off definitely.
I know that's true. Like I never thought he was short, but
Yeah,
I did
yeah,
not think he was that tall
yeah,
either.
he's like yeah, sneaky tall.
Okay, after Googling this, I just realized he shares my birth date, not date.
Yeah,
He's much older than me. He's 72. But I have the same birthday as David Hasselhoff.
well, there you go.
What? My whole thing was always like Donald Sutherland was what like my celebrity.
Nice. So
Celebrity
maybe you can
birthday.
become a popular singer in Germany, is it?
Germany,
That
yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the thing with David Hasselhoff, I find it really funny that like he has turned his like cheesiness into a career of just quote unquote being himself in things.
Yeah.
Like he never shows up in anything as a character anymore. He's not like
You
acting.
just
He's just like,
yeah,
I'm David Hasselhoff everywhere he goes. And you're just
yeah,
like, okay, this is
yeah,
fine.
yeah. He's not movie actor like David Hasselhoff. It's movie character. That's also the actor David
David
Hasselhoff.
Hasselhoff. Yeah. It's so weird.
Yeah, yeah. Because even in this, yeah, he just like shows up at the end. He's like, "I'll get you there," and he's like, "Oh, it's David Hasselhoff," and he's like, "Yeah, like where's your boat?" And he's like, "What's a boat?" And there's
Can you
like
believe
those
a boat?
yeah, they jump on his back and they like dolphin swim on the top of the ocean out to the Bikini Atoll. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I love it. Um,
Then you get then he gets fucking stabbed in the ass, and then he's just like, keep it down back there," and he just keeps going.
he's on a mission. He's David Hasselhoff, okay? You have to understand this. Um, One thing I did like about like their whole journey is that I don't know if it maybe I had picked up on this subconsciously before, but this time watching it, I really picked up on it, is that the further they got away from Bikini Bottom, the what do you call it? The color gradient
Yeah,
changed
yeah, it's definitely yeah,
based on the
definitely.
cleanliness of like I guess the cleanliness of the water because by the time they find a bigger boot in the whatever it's very like green and gross and yes you can see like in the background there's like tin cans and like stuff there but if you're like watching the movie as it goes along that gradient and like the because like most of the beginning half of the movie is super saturated with like super bright colors and like
Yeah,
they're like you're pink and you're yellow and you're red like you're bright but as you're going along you're just like everything gets more muted as it goes along and you're just like
yeah,
what.
yeah. But yeah, by the time they get to Shell City, yeah, it's just gray and dingy and gross. Yeah,
Yeah, and then they get out of the water, and of course it's super saturated again because
yeah.
they don't have the same filter on it because of like the dirty water. And I find it great. I don't like I like I think one of the things that makes this movie so good is that they do actually pay a lot of attention to like little details throughout the movie, and they make things like yes there's some weird stuff like pants just randomly showing up on people and stuff I get it but it's part of like the tone of the movie but like there's certain parts where they're like no you can actually like see what's happening on screen as to like why they don't have something anymore or why how they're going to get something or how somebody finds out about something they're very good at like showing all of that stuff.
So
Is
yeah,
there any joke in the movie or scene in the movie you think is like your favorite or you laugh the hardest?
I was only just seeing it for the first time. So I had to watch it again because I think I was just more trying to like take notes and stuff on it. So nothing really sticks out. Was the princess like part of the show like initially or was it
No,
okay? Yeah, yeah
no.
because as I was looking up if Tom Wilson was the thing, I noticed who the voice was for her, and I was like, I'm fairly certain I would have heard if she was in the show more often because
Mhm.
that was that Black Widow.
Yeah,
Like
Scarlett
yeah,
Johansson.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I was like, I'm fairly certain I would have heard that Scarlett Johansson was part of the show, like as
yeah.
it was going on, even though I
No,
didn't watch it.
one of my notes is that her voice work in this movie is one of the worst things I've ever heard.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, because that's why I kind of don't like they just get like regular actors for the most part to become like voice actors
mhm.
because they just they're just them,
Yeah,
and they yeah, they obviously like they don't have like they somewhat know how to act with their voice, but they have to act like the physical part too, so they don't have like the only act with your voice and don't have that aspect of it quite down
mhm.
yet for the most
Yeah.
part. So they're just kind of talking, and why a lot of people don't like the fact that Chris Pratt's picking up a bunch of fucking voice acting roles and stuff, and he's just doing Chris Pratt voice
Well,
because
I actually don't have a problem with Chris Pratt doing voices. I just don't think all of the movies he's doing voices for
yeah,
fit him.
oh yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly, yeah. So yeah, because you're just doing Chris Pratt voice, so it's just like you to get somebody just get somebody who actually does this for a living and let them do it instead of just being, hey, it's Chris Pratt, so let's get him to do the voice instead.
yeah. No, I thought he was perfect for the Lego movie.
Well, yeah, that was fine, but
I really didn't like him as Mario. I
no,
didn't. Like he didn't do a bad job. I was just like, this voice is wrong,
yeah,
is what I kept thinking.
yeah.
And but I haven't seen his Garfield voice yet,
Oh, I
so
fine. Yeah,
I'm not going to watch it. Maybe when it comes on TV.
yeah. Even that, I doubt I'll. If two of the channels that when I first started at my job like start playing movies again, like, and I'll have to watch it, it would probably be the only time I'll watch that movie.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I think for ScarJo, like this was her first voice acting role.
Yeah,
Because since then she's done a few things. Well, of course, like the big one was like her, where she ended up
yeah,
being like Oscar nominated for
yeah,
just her
yeah,
voice, and it was controversial because like was she acting? You didn't even see her, but no, she was definitely doing like a thing,
yeah,
and she did an amazing job with her. And of course, I've seen like Sing. She does a voice in that, which you I actually didn't even realize was her until like the third time I watched it. I was like, wait a second.
yeah. Because I
Um,
definitely didn't pick up that was her voice
yeah,
until I saw it. But
she's the porcupine
uh,
in
I,
Sing.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh,
So
you haven't seen? Oh, you should
no,
see Sing.
no.
Sing is great. So but like so she's been doing it and getting better. But I think
Yeah,
this was just like her first
yeah,
one, and it was just like, ugh, this is why
yeah.
do you sound so awful? Like and I think too because everybody else, even like Jeffrey Tambor, who's really like more of a screen actor and has
Yeah,
now become more of a voice actor, he does such a good job, and everybody else is known for their voice acting.
yeah.
It's so clear that she's like out of her league in this movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. Voice acting is definitely a lot tougher than you would. Some people would might think. Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
is more of a talent. Yeah, and is Shell? Why is Shell City like the Forbidden City? Did they say in the movie, or didn't catch it, or like is that a thing from the show?
No, it's not a thing. It's all new. Like that part of it is all new. And I think Shell City is a forbidden city just because, sea creatures keep disappearing.
Oh, okay.
That's what I got from it. But and as you can see, like they didn't even know what Shell City actually was. They're
Yeah.
like, oh no, it's a city. You're just not allowed to go there.
Oh,
But
so
it's
yeah,
really
I think it was the day. Yeah, it was the second time around where I actually like where it was like actually when they were like outside of the water and they're like, oh, it's here. Because Patrick, when they were drying out, Patrick just kept on saying it. It's like, all right, you're starting to get annoying, buddy. Like, why do you keep on saying that for? Like, oh, we're in Shell City and we're
yeah,
in the area.
yeah. So like I did like they added aspects to the story to make it as different as possible from the cartoon without losing the feeling and the friendship and all that kind of stuff from the cartoon. Which I really liked. And like nothing was like it didn't come across as out of place or like they were trying too hard. They just all seemed to fit within it. And I think that's why I really liked the movie as well when I watched it the first time. Yeah. My friends do make fun of me for liking this movie as much as I do. But it's
And
fine.
if they won't actually watch it, yeah, like definitely, I think that they might some of them might change their minds because I didn't know what to think going in. I have not seen like any like SpongeBob and actual like front to back,
Mhm.
but yeah, it was definitely something that I like. So I'll probably end up watching it. I think whichever streaming I forgot which one it was. It might have been the Netflix. Might have most of the SpongeBob on it. So
Yeah, what's good about it is even if you haven't watched the TV show, it's such a contained story
yeah.
that it's fine if you don't directly know the relationships. And but the relationships they do bring up within it, like even with like Plankton and stuff, you're like, oh, that's the bad guy. It's very easy to pick up on, you know, as you're watching it. Because it's essentially for kids and quote unquote stoners. So they're like, we have to make a simple story that everybody's gonna get. You're like, all right. I like it. And apparently, like, oh, here's like another stupid thing I read about SpongeBob. Like 10 years ago or something, or 15 years ago, they did like a study and they actually found that kids who watched a lot of SpongeBob were dumber than kids who didn't. So, FYI.
So it's a show for me, you know,
Yeah,
because I am a goofy goober.
exactly. Oh my God, I love that song so much. I love it so much. All of the versions of it. It's fine.
I was definitely singing along with it when I heard it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like they put so much effort into not just the story or the visuals, but like the couple of songs they throw in there. Oh, fantastic. Even if you watch the credits, there's Ocean Man and there's like another song and then SpongeBob sings a song. But even those three songs, just over the credits, fantastic songs. Fantastic songs. They're really good. I recommend. Is there like anything else in there that you're just like, oh, there's this part and there was this part, or what's up with this thing? Let me know.
What is there? I thought it was funny that they put the Krusty Krab 2 like right next door to the
Yes.
first one, and and just I was thinking like if they end up making like Squidward the manager there, and if him and SpongeBob are the only two employees, doesn't that make SpongeBob automatically the manager for the first one?
No, I think
Or is he just
now they just keep him as a fry cook. That's it. Yeah. I mean, he does get his manager pin at the end, so it's okay. I love that.
I
Yeah.
like that had like Mr. Krabs' first name is Eugene.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always wondering, like, where did like Plankton get all the money for the mind control stuff? Because he was saying he didn't have a single customer, so that's why he was mad that Mr. Krabs was opening the second one. So he went through like A through Y, and then like the last plan. But like,
Where
so unless he like started selling the the Krabby Patties, and then like then got the mind control stuff.
what? I will just
Or
say
am I thinking too much about this?
you're thinking way too much about this. Because Plankton is just evil. And, on cartoons, evil guys, no matter what they're doing, they always get to do their plan somehow, no matter
Yeah,
how
they're
cheap or expensive it is.
yeah, they're overly convoluted, really expensive plan.
Exactly. Like, but that's the thing. Like, if you think about it too much, you're like, well, look, if you've never had a customer, but you've had the chum bucket open for 10 years, how are you affording to keep the chum bucket open? Even just like thinking a little bit about it, you're just like, I
I, I,
can't do
I,
this. It
I also
ruins
did have that
everything.
thought, but I just kind of skipped past it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he built a robot wife who didn't agree to be his wife. Like there's a whole background there, you know. One thing about that scene that drives me crazy is that folder he pulls out, that Z is just an N on its side. I don't there's it always annoys me seeing that Z. I'm like, no, that's an N on its side. For any reason. And I know it's a stupid small thing, but it drives me nuts.
But
It
now that
really
you mentioned
does.
that, yeah, I did look kind of off, yeah. And why was it like lemon scented too? That's also weird, or whatever scented it was.
Who knows? That is a question I cannot answer. I have no idea. That just makes it, that's it's fresh and it's new when it's lemon scented, I guess.
So
I
fresh
don't
and so
know.
clean, clean.
Yeah. Exactly. Nobody's as dope as him, so for sure.
Fresh and so clean. Now I have that song in my head.
It's a good song to have stuck in your head. Don't worry.
It is.
Uh,
So what else do I have here? What else are my notes? I like that Shell City was 5 days away, but by car.
mhm.
And
Wait, did you like that he didn't need a license to drive a sandwich? Yeah, because
yeah,
there's a whole long running joke. Because he's got a driving instructor, Mrs. Puff, who's been teaching him and trying to get him his license for years and years, and he always fails. So a big thing in the show is that he doesn't have a driver's license, and that's one of the reasons why that scene is so funny. But also, he is driving a sandwich. So yeah,
and two, they're like fish, like they're like swimming animals, so they can just swim.
as you can see, they all have legs and they walk around
Yeah, true
in the
enough. Yeah,
water.
and I would be lazy and probably want to drive if I was a fish too. So,
Yeah. I mean, swimming is the equivalent of walking for us. So they'll be
yeah,
like, look, I'm
yeah, fuck.
tired. I gotta
I,
go all the way over there and
I
walk.
hate no one got time for that.
Exactly.
And then too, they're there said saying to the two guys that they're going to cross over the line or whatever it was, and they said they're not going to last 10 seconds, but they say it's 12, but it's actually like 2 seconds before their car gets stolen, and then they spend like the extra 10 seconds just standing on the other side, and then they come back, and they're like, "How long was
Yeah.
that? Like 12 seconds?" They're like, "Yay, we made it past the 10."
It
But
was actually 15 seconds by the time they get that question answered. I literally sat there and counted this time. I'm like, no, it's not 12 seconds. It was 15.
yeah, so yeah, and it was like 2 days as soon as they crossed the line, he's like, "Give me your car," and they're like, "Okay, here you
But
go."
I do like how excited and happy they are about it. They're just like, oh my God, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. Yeah.
But they do get it back like fairly quickly though. Like after they go it's then they go into the bar, and then once they leave the bar is when they find it again, right? I think.
Uh no, so they're walking and
Yeah,
then they see the sign for the 5 days,
yeah.
and then they see the bar over there and they see the car, but they have to get the key.
Oh yeah,
And the
that's right.
key, the guy has the key on the
That's right. Yeah,
inside.
they go in the
Yes.
bar. Yeah, and then it's
And then they end up in the bathroom with the bubbles.
yeah, and
And
that's where
what
Biff is.
is
Yeah.
they're a bubble blowing double baby. Love it.
But I think it was because like he was yelling is why I was able to pick out that it was like Tom Wilson so much. Yeah, because I think that's where I guess like the biffness of the voice comes out. I guess.
Yes, the biffness comes out. It does come out. Yeah. uh, yeah, there's just like so many like random things. Like I love the whole now that we're men song, as they like, they're men who are invincible, jump down a cliff and land and like we are invincible, and then start singing about it and like all the monsters that are there. And I just love that whole sequence. And like I'm not a huge fan of musicals, but like one or two songs in something
Yeah.
that's entertaining and it works.
I feel it's songs are more acceptable in cartoons than they are in like live action stuff. I think.
Oh,
At
definitely.
least for me,
Yeah.
like half the time they'll be like on their fourth song. I'm like, oh yeah, there is fucking songs of this thing.
Yeah.
But if it's a movie, I'm like, yeah, fuck that, like no songs. Yeah, that's why. And I think that's part of the reason why they're trying to for the new Joker movie is why they're trying to bend over backwards and say it's not a musical, just to try
Uh,
and get more people to go and not
I
be like, fuck this movie. Like I've not seen that fucking movie, so
I
even if it wasn't a musical, I still fucking wouldn't see that shit.
yeah, I still haven't seen the first movie. I
No,
have like
I have
I
zero.
have no interest in watching that first movie, and I have no interest in watching
Yeah,
this one.
yeah,
And
like
it
yeah,
just seems so it's just unnecessary.
yeah,
Like the whole
100.
story just seems
Yeah,
unnecessary. And so it's just like I don't want any of this in my life, so I'm
Yeah,
not gonna look at
yeah.
it.
I know, yeah, my co-host for like that my Batman show was like, "Hey, it's opening my birthday weekend." I'm like, "I'm still not seeing that movie, sorry, dude." I still not seen the first one. I had zero interest, and yeah, like so he's like okay,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he's like I get it.
yeah. No, like I know there are people out there who like it. They think
Yeah,
it's
it's
really
legit, but
good and whatever. And like the few things I've learned about like the storyline and what happens in the first movie, I'm just like, why would I want to watch that? Like
yeah,
that just seems, it just seems so ugh.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and now you're making a second movie. Like,
yeah,
you just no.
yeah, yeah.
But it's just them banking on like, oh, it's the Joker. You're like, but is it? Like, I don't know who this is. Yeah,
Nope.
just looks like I find they're going back to this. Well, coming back, or maybe they're just starting to get like grittier with some of these movies, and they're just making them too quote unquote realistic. And the whole point of superheroes is that it shouldn't be realistic.
Yeah,
And
like
you're just like, I don't
they're
need this.
going a little too grounded with stuff, and like you need a like it's fucking superhero shit, man. Like, the shit isn't grounded at all.
Yeah, you need some levity.
What?
You need some
Yeah,
lightness.
one guy's from a fucking different planet. The other guy, like his main power is willpower. Like, come on,
It's
like come on.
being rich.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
come on. And the other guy is power that he runs real fast. Like, come on, like,
Yeah.
like,
Like, look at me. You're like, okay, sure, if you
like
say so.
he talks this to fish. Like, why are we trying to take this seriously?
They're like, but they'll have like a scientist explain how it's possible, and you're just like, do we need this? No, just he just talks to fish. Just let it happen, okay? Just let it happen. It's not
She's a
that
Wonder
serious.
Woman. That's all we need to know.
That's all we need to know. It's done. Yeah, yeah. No, it's crazy. But instead of watching that movie, I definitely watch SpongeBob
Oh
SquarePants
yeah,
the
like
movie
yeah,
again.
I'm 100% down. As I said, like I will watch the SpongeBob like series now after I often watch this, and
Mhm.
I'm not watching even though I fucking run a Batman fucking podcast. I'm not fucking watching the Joker. So take
Exactly.
that.
So therefore, you know how we're feeling about this. So anyway, so I guess like I don't know, any more points you want to hit on either of these movies or anything else?
How does an anglerfish know about ice cream?
Look, it has been radiated by nuclear weapons. Who knows how it knows? How could it make its technically that thing is its tongue? How could it turn it into a grandma and make it, say,
They
give
can't
you
give the
some
grandma like
ice cream?
arms and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, and have like another tongue that's a cat that meows. Like what?
Oh, yeah, yeah, the fucking cat.
That was just crazy. It is just crazy. I keep telling you, you're asking way too many questions. You just accept it for what it is, okay? That you were delighted and entertained by the ridiculousness of
Yeah,
the underwater adventures.
I couldn't quite watch this show how I wanted to because I wanted to take notes. So I think like going to bed tonight, I'll probably do that. And I'll probably have like far less questions and just be like, yeah, okay, I
Yeah.
get
Oh, trust
it.
me. If you watch it again tonight or even tomorrow, if you're grumpy, you put this on, it's just gonna make you feel better. And that song at the end, I'm a movie goober, rock doo 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 doo. Oh my god, perfect way to end a movie because you're just like, yes,
And I was
yes.
and once like in the shop when the lobsters got very rehydrated or whatever, they kind of looks like Sebastian. I was kind of hoping they start singing, but they didn't. Then I was like, oh yeah, I guess there's crabs are crabs, so I guess they don't really look like Sebastian. So
Well, they're lobsters
oh,
and they
lobsters, that's it.
match. So there's I forget what that character's name is. There's a regular lobster on the show who's like a buff guy from like Venice Beach, and he just goes to the beach and
Oh,
like works
so,
out or
and is
whatever.
that like that? Are they doing like that Arnie voice or whatever?
Yeah. Not quite the Arnie voice, but
But
like
something,
a deep, like tough guy voice.
okay.
He's like that guy. You see him in the movie in the chum bucket, and he's like eating a sandwich, but he doesn't talk at all. I don't think in this. But he's there. So like all the lobsters kind of look like him.
Okay. So yeah, so
Yeah,
they had a as Sebastian them open there when I saw them.
yeah, yeah. No, it's good. It's good stuff. I tell you, it's good stuff.
All right.
So final thoughts and recommendations on these two movies.
I would definitely say watch both of them. Like Spaceballs is definitely like one of like actually one of the few like Mel Brooks movies I think I've seen because I've seen this. Like it's Robin Hood Men in Tights, and then obviously like I said like this year was the first time I watched Blazing Saddles and fucking I think those are the only ones I've seen. But I definitely suggest watching Spaceballs because if you know Star Wars or like or any other the movies that they'd be like from the 80s and stuff, I definitely worth a watch. That well, I feel most of the jokes landed. There's no groaners or anything, or I didn't feel like these were like of the time jokes for the most part, really. That some of this other stuff too. So and then with SpongeBob, even if like me, who doesn't haven't even seen any other SpongeBob movies, this movie definitely does work if you like, because I like the stupid weird humor. So both movies definitely worked. I thought I would like this movie, so that's why I chose it because I didn't think it would be a movie that I would have to force myself to get through. So and it
Yeah,
wasn't. So, it definitely wasn't. So
agreed. Like I like, but also both these movies are relatively short. They're like
yeah,
an
but
hour
yeah,
and a
both
half
like an
each or
hour.
whatever.
Yeah, both like an hour and a half each, or just over an hour and a half. So
Yeah,
so I like that, like, especially yeah, because most like almost all movies now are over 2 hours, and that's fucking too much movie.
I don't know.
I
I think I've said this before. I don't have a problem with a movie being long, just have a purpose for it being
yeah.
long. And half the movies that are over 2 hours have no reason to be
No,
over two
no.
hours.
Yeah, like yeah, this movie could have been like an hour and a half, hour and 45, and just
Yeah.
be like I cut out a couple like slow part bits, and it would have been like a tiny movie. It would have been good.
Mm,
And
that would have been
then if
fun.
you watch this movie, watch SpongeBob, you get to see him do some play some Van Halen on a three-string guitar near the end.
Yes, it's so good. It's so good. I absolutely agree with you. I will say this in Spaceballs, there are some grown jokes in there because they're just full-on dad jokes. So you're just like, oh my God. But I agree with you on everything on there. Like I love the SpongeBob movie. So I recommend it to everybody, but most of the time people roll their eyes at me, but I'm like, no, this is a
Yeah.
good movie.
Yeah,
It's
and I was telling my one friend, Cami, that I was doing these two movies, and she like loves that movie too. So she was like,
awesome.
you better take good notes because I love that movie better than us." And like, hey, don't worry, Cami, I freaking love it. So I'll probably I have the movie, so I'll probably end up watching it again, and I'll probably end up watching like more of the series now because if it's more like this, I'll think I'll definitely like it.
Definitely do it. Yes, do that.
Yeah,
And
so if you,
audience, do the same thing. Just it's fine. It's
yeah, because
fine.
I said I'm fairly like we're in Canada, so I'm fairly certain it was on the Canadian Netflix that I watched the SpongeBob on. So check that out.
Yes,
Like I'm
do
going
that.
to.
Well, Adam, thank you so much for coming on this week.
No problem. Thank
Yeah.
you again for having me. Like I'm always happy at the end of the year when I get the actual email to have me on for more. So I'm like, I didn't screw up enough that she doesn't want me back.
No, no problem. I'm glad to send an affirmation at the end of every year for you. It's good.
I'm like,
It's
yay,
good.
I, I didn't suck this year. Yay.
It's good. It's good. So where can people find Beyond the Batcast?
Yeah, so my Batman the animated series or rewatch is you can find it wherever you find your podcast at Beyond the Batcast. It is also at Beyond the Batcast on Twitter/X, at Beyond Batcast on Instagram. We also have a link tree at link.tree at Beyond the Batcast, and you can find everything there. I think we have a Discord on there now too. That's trying to get more people on there to be a bit more active. So like, yeah, just follow Linktree and you probably find all the links there. And don't forget to like, review, and subscribe. Helps us out a little bit to get up reach charts and see get more listens that way. And you can follow me at my own personal Instagram at StumpChunkman.
Yes, always like and subscribe and tell people about the podcast that you like because it helps all of us.
Yeah, so,
All of
yeah, I
us.
know. I think it's a. Yeah, I think I tell a lot of people about that. I don't tell them like I'm on it. So I was like this one movie podcast I like off my shelf. Check it out.
Nice, nice.
But
Um,
maybe avoid these like 8 or 9 episodes maybe, but the rest of them are okay.
Yeah, no, I'm on a couple of those, soon to be a couple. I've only done one so far and recorded another one, and it'll be up soon. So
I
yeah,
think
you can
that should
find me
be
over
like
there as
out
well.
on that one should be out on the first or second, whatever that Tuesday is. So I'm not sure that which should probably be like maybe like the week of this one or the week before this one. So
Nice. Yeah. It'll
which I
so that'll be out before this one. Okay, so
yeah.
yeah, so I'll be on a couple of episodes when this episode comes out. Yeah. Good. Great. Thank you so much. I guess I'll have to make sure to send that email to you next year to get you back on. All right. Well, thanks. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Tracy. Have
No
a good
problem. Bye.
day.
Well, that's it for this episode of Off My Shelf. Until next time, you can follow along on Instagram and Twitter at ohmyshelf, or you can send an email to ohmyshelf@gmail.com. This episode was produced and edited by me, Tracy, with original theme song by Ori Falconer. Like, subscribe, leave a comment wherever you listen to this podcast. Come back next time to see what falls off my shelf.